So my latest read is a book called The Girl with a Thousand Faces by Sunyi. This story is set in an alternate version of our world where ghosts are an everyday part of people's lives. They exist everywhere and they're treated differently in different cultures. Like there's some cultures where they are exorcised right away, some cultures where people have found ways to coexist with them more peacefully. But like whatever the case, they are like a well-known phenomenon that everyone kind of recognizes and more or less kind of understands. So the main character, Mercy, washed up on the shores of Hong Kong when she was in her 20s. Like she had no memory of who she was or like anything that happened to her before that time. And this was around the end of World War II. But the story actually begins when she's in her 50s. Like since then, she has made a home for herself in a place called Kowloon, which is like a walled city in Hong Kong. Like it's a slum area where there's a lot of like nooks and crannies, which make it easy for ghosts to live there. And like people drove ghosts into this part of the city at the end of the war, anyways, it can explain itself. But suffice to say, like it's an area that's known for having a lot of ghosts, and the local like crime groups like the triads and so on, one main thing they do for the people is to keep the ghost problem down. So Mercy works for one of these local triad groups. Like she is a ghost talker. Like unlike an exorcist, like she mostly does her work by communicating with the ghosts that are causing problems for people. Like she has a really unusual quality in that ghosts actually listen to what she says and will often speak to her in return. Like this is not a common thing for people. But recently there have been a string of attacks like drownings and so on by a particularly powerful ghost that is causing her some grief. And like, cause one encounter, like she had a disturbing encounter with this girl who like passed on a message to her, and it turns out that this ghost might actually know something about Mercy's history and have some kind of history with her. And this is problematic not only because it's a powerful ghost, but also because it is apparently playing a major role in plans of this government official to try to level Kowloon. Like because it is a slum and has a lot of ghosts, like people routinely kind of want to decimate the area, like build it over with something like different and stuff. So, she is trying to figure out how to save her city, like this place that she has come to consider her home, and also to work out what that has to do with her past and, try to do something about this ghost that's going around killing people. But I guess in the course of that investigation and attempt to save, I guess, the things that she's come to care about, she also kind of has to learn more about herself, find the memories and stuff that she has forgotten, figure out what history it is she has with this ghost, because a lot of the answers, what is happening and what she can maybe do about it, lie in her own history. Let's see. So something that I liked. Maybe it's a funny thing to say, but I kind of appreciated that the main character was a middle-aged woman. Like, I feel like middle-aged women don't get picked very often to be the main characters of fantasy stories, so it was kind of a refreshing change. I also liked how you could see like a lot of Asian folklore like reflected in the types of ghosts that that got described and stuff in the story. Like that was kind of a fun aspect, like seeing how the author integrated those superstitions and folklore stuff into people's everyday lives. But something I did not like. So part of the story was kind of told from the point of view of a goddess talking to one of the characters, like especially when you get into the bits that talk about people's histories, and because of that, like there are large sections of the book that are written in second person, like the goddess talking to a you, like as opposed to like one of the characters like using their names or like whatever. And I generally find that point of view kind of writing, very irritating. Like, it's not the most annoying second person story I've ever read, but I still didn't like it very much.